In 1867, Kansas State University held its first commencement. 3 women and 2 men graduated that year. As the first land-grant university in the nation, this fledgling university had a vision of providing innovative education to all people. That early vision has continued through to the present, with over 250 majors and a diverse student body, including students from all 50 states and more than 100 countries. Becoming one of the nation's top 50 public research universities by 2025 is today's vision for tomorrow. With academic programs among the best in the nation and professors who are leaders in their fields, Kansas State University is an international leader in teaching, learning, service, and research. Today's graduates join over 200,000 alumni who are proud to call K-State their alma mater. Congratulations, and thank you to all those who have supported them through their undergraduate experience at Kansas State University.
Welcome to the Fall 2016 commencement exercises of the College of Business Administration. I am Kevin Gwinner, Dean of the College. I am pleased to introduce Ms. Taylor Fry, a senior in marketing from Great Bend, Kansas, to sing our national anthem. Please remain standing.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Taylor. That was amazing. Would everyone please be seated? Before we proceed with our program, I would like to introduce the members of the Platform Party. Please hold your applause until the entire Platform Party has been introduced. Beginning at my far left, we have Dr. Brett Wilkinson, Head, Department of Accounting, Dr. Eric Higgins, Associate Dean for Finance and Head, Department of Finance, Dr. Stacy Kovar, Associate Dean for Academic Administration, Mr. Kent Glasscock, President of the Kansas State University Institute for Commercialization, Class of 1976, and today's commencement speaker, Dr. April Mason, Provost and Senior Vice President of Kansas State University, General Richard Myers, President of Kansas State University, Dr. Xuan Xu, Interim Associate Dean for Academic Programs, Ms. Catherine Clausen, CBA Outstanding Graduating Senior, Mr. Nicholas Ramsey, CBA Student Speaker, Dr. Don Martin, Assistant Dean for Diversity, Mr. David Lehman, Instructor, Department of Marketing, Dr. Esther Swilley, Head, Department of Marketing, Dr. Bill Turnley, Head, Department of Management, and Ms. Amy Button-Rentz, President and CEO, Kansas State University Alumni Association. Let me also take this opportunity to express our appreciation to our outstanding marshals today, Dr. Danita Whitney Bramerlin and Dr. Jan Crow. If you would both stand. We appreciate your willingness to serve. Thank you. I'm delighted that you are here to join us in this special event in the lives of our graduates, an event that marks the culmination of many years of hard work and sacrifice in the pursuit of knowledge, a meaningful career, and a promising future. Graduates, today is a wonderful day of celebration for you and your families. I'm privileged to have the opportunity to share this very special occasion with you. No one is happier or prouder of your educational accomplishments than those loved ones gathered here today. I want to take this moment to acknowledge the encouragement and support your families have provided for your success. Would the parents, spouses, and children of the graduates please stand and be recognized? Although we are here today to honor the accomplishments of the graduates, we would be remiss if we did not also recognize the faculty and staff who have worked diligently with our graduates in completing their studies. In honor of the faculty and professional staff who have served you with such dedication, I ask you, our graduates, to please stand and applaud their contributions to your success. Thank you. I am pleased to have this opportunity to publicly recognize the recipients of 3 prestigious college awards. Dr. Xuan Xu, Interim Associate Dean for Academic Programs and Professor of Management, is the Fall 2016 College of Business recipient of the Outstanding Contribution Research Award. Ms. Sabine Turnley, Instructor of Management, is the recipient of the Kansas State Bank Teaching Excellence Award for 2016. And Ms. Melanie Horton, Assistant to the Dean, is the recipient of the College of Business Administration Professional Staff Excellence Award. Congratulations to you all. We are honored to have Kansas State University President Richard Myers and Provost and Senior Vice President April Mason join us today to congratulate our graduates. Thank you for being here, President Myers and Provost Mason. At this time, it is my great pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Mr. Kent Glasscock. Kent Glasscock is a member of the K-State class of 1976. He's a native of Manhattan, Kansas, and had a 16-year career in public office, beginning as mayor of Manhattan in 1989, a member of the Kansas House of Representatives from 1991 to 2003, as Kansas House Majority Leader from 91 to 2001, and Speaker of the House of Representatives from 2001 to 2003. In 2003, Mr. Glasscock returned to Manhattan and K-State to serve as president of the KSU Institute of Commercialization. The Institute works with K-State to disseminate technological innovation throughout the world, which stems from K-State research via licensing, corporate partnerships, and new company creation. During Kent's tenure, the Institute has generated more than $30 million in direct benefit back to the university. In 2012, Ingram's Magazine named Mr. Glasscock to its list of 50 Kansans you should know. He is a member of the advisory councils of the College of Business and the Department of Architecture and Landscape Design. He is an emeritus member of the advisory councils of the university's colleges of engineering and arts and sciences. And he remains engaged in local business as the chairman and CEO of his family retail lumber and construction businesses operating in Missouri, Iowa, and Kansas. Mr. Glasscock is a member of the Higher Education Task Force for the Kansas City Area Development Council, the Board of Trustees for the Midwest Research Institute in Kansas City, and is a member of the Kansas State University Olathe Board of Directors. Please join me in welcoming Kent Glasscock to the podium.
Good morning. Mr. President, Provost, Dean Gwinner, thank you so much for having me. This is a great day. There are fewer days such as these in a person's life with such meaning and hope than graduation. It's a day of celebration, only marred usually by the commencement address itself. Class of 2016, from this day, you will carry with you the honor of being a K-State graduate. Once granted, this is an honor that cannot be taken away or returned. At the same time, you will carry with you the great expectation associated with being a K-Stater. K-State expects you to lead your family, your community, and your country with passion and with courage. Like the honor of always being a K-Stater, the great expectation cannot be returned. It cannot be taken away. One of the most colorful figures of the Great Depression was U.S. Senator Huey Long of Louisiana, a man known simply as the Kingfish. In 1935, the Kingfish was President Roosevelt's most feared political opponent. In September of that year, in the Louisiana Capitol, the Kingfish was shot. He was taken to the hospital where he fell into a coma. He aroused himself only once, when he sat bolt upright in bed and shouted, "God, don't take me now. I have so much left to do." Collapsing into silence hours later, the Kingfish was dead. Leaders have passion to lead, and they never stop leading, ever. Living for you and your career is not enough. Huey P. Long, with his last thoughts, wanted to do more. Leaders also have the courage to lead even when riddled with doubt. In the years ahead, when you're in doubt, K-State expects you to have the courage to lead through that doubt. Never believe the great leaders are always sure or certain of their course. In 1940, Nazi Germany attempted to force the surrender of Great Britain through a massive nightly bombing campaign. The destruction was stunning, vast, and indiscriminate. The day after a particularly harsh night of bombing, Prime Minister Winston Churchill toured devastated neighborhoods. He came upon a brownstone home that had been bombed into a pile of rubble. Out of this rubble came a mother and small children. Churchill, obviously shaken, could find no words of comfort for this mother. In fact, he could find no words at all. The mother, in an effort to break the silence, smiled and said, "We'll be all right, Mr. Prime Minister. We'll be all right." At such a time, you would expect a leader such as Winston Churchill to strengthen this woman, to give her a sense of hope. Instead, the Lion of Great Britain turned to the woman with tears streaming down his face, and he said, "Madam, do you not tremble for your children?" He then walked on, unable to say anything more. Over the years, my mind has turned to this story time and time again. Winston Churchill had doubts, and he trembled for England, yet he had the courage to press on. Today, pessimists among us say that ours is a country with an uncertain future. They point to an America threatened by terror, a country internally conflicted with the stagnation of its great middle class, and an America in full possession of a political system operating at the extremes. This university does not stand with the pessimists. Some look at this country and its future and tremble for our children. K-State does not. It does not because it knows that you will be there to build that future. Honor and expectation, passion and courage. Your diploma from Kansas State University is a message from us in this time and place for all time and every place that this university believes in you. Dean Gwinner, my congratulations to you and the outstanding faculty and staff of the College of Business Administration. Parents, families, and friends, thank you for entrusting your children to us during these years of education. This is a trust that we have not taken for granted, and we couldn't be more pleased to be part of your family's life and legacy. Graduates, on behalf of everyone here, let me extend my sincere congratulations. For some of you, graduation was inevitable. For others of you like me, graduation is a miracle. I have 2 young sons. I don't know what challenges they or America will face in their time, but I do know this. I will never tremble for the world my sons will eventually engage, because I know you will be there before them. I'll not tremble because I know you will serve beyond career, beyond family, beyond you. K-Staters who serve and never stop. I'll not tremble because I know you'll conduct your lives so that on any given day, you too will be able to say, God, don't take me now. I have so much left to do. Not now. There is too much left to do.
Ken, thank you for your powerful remarks and your eloquent challenge to our graduates. Please accept this small expression of our appreciation for your participation in today's ceremony. During today's ceremony, we are grateful to have Amy Button Rentz, President and CEO of the K-State Alumni Association, in attendance. She will say a few words on behalf of the Alumni Association.
Thank you, Dean Gwinner. I'm pleased to be part of your special day and offer congratulations on behalf of the 182,000 living graduates who will be your lifelong K-State family. Today, as you receive your degree, we are honored to recognize you and all you have accomplished. We are also here to welcome you into a new relationship with your alma mater. Our mission at the Alumni Association is to lead and inspire lifelong involvement that will benefit Kansas State University and all members of our Wildcat community. I would like to share 3 of our core values that guide us in our mission to keep you connected with Kansas State University. The first one is LINK. The Alumni Association provides the lifelong link that alumni depend on to remain connected. You can stay in touch through hundreds of alumni activities held on campus, around the country, and internationally. Another value is tradition. You will likely celebrate a few traditions as you sing the alma mater or take KSU photos at your favorite spot on campus. The third core value is purple. For K-Staters, it's more than a color. It's a symbol of pride and connection. When you see someone wearing purple, or wearing a K-State class ring, or even showing off their K-State PowerCat license plate, you will feel that sense of family. In recognition of your graduation, the College of Business Administration and the Alumni Association are providing you with a complimentary 1-year membership to the Alumni Association. Enjoy the membership benefits and continue to be an active member. K-State alumni are among the most loyal in the nation. In fact, our membership ranks in the top 5 in the nation for the percentage of graduates who are members. That loyalty is shared worldwide by generations of K-Staters who have the same passion for K-State that you feel today as you earn your degree from one of the finest universities in the nation. The Alumni Association is also pleased to present you with an exclusive alumni business card holder. As you go through life and your titles and addresses change, please be sure to let us know. We want to make sure you're always connected to your K-State family. Congratulations and go State.
Thank you, Amy. It is now my honor to present the CBA Outstanding Graduating Senior in Business Award. This award is selected based on academic excellence and service to the College of Business Administration as an undergraduate. The Outstanding Graduating Senior in Business is chosen by a committee of the Dean's Student Advisory Council, comprised of student leaders elected to represent the students. This semester, Catherine Clausen has been selected as the Fall 2016 Outstanding Graduating Senior. Catherine, will you join me at the podium? Catherine Clausen will be graduating as a marketing major with a minor in economics. While an undergraduate, Catherine also earned the Professional Strategic Selling Certificate and has been an excellent student scholar who is actively involved in the life of the college. Catherine is the daughter of Kinby and Lena Clausen. She is from Santana, Kansas, and a graduate of Santana High School. After graduation, Catherine will pursue a career in fashion marketing in New York City. Within the College of Business, Catherine has worked in the K-State Professional Advantage Office as a graphic designer. She also has been involved in the National Strategic Selling Institute, serving as a business student ambassador and participating in global education opportunities through the college by traveling to Italy and China. Across campus, Catherine has been active as a 3-year member of the National Agri-Marketing Association, which placed 3rd in the national competition. Catherine also received the 2016 Fergie Ferguson Successful Farming Scholarship, the highest national honor in that organization. As a 3-year member of the PowerCat Financial Counseling Student Advisory Board, Catherine has acted as the marketing chair with responsibilities for creating and distributing event advertisements. Catherine's professional experiences span from coast to coast, with internships with Kleinfeld's Bridal in New York City, marketing agency Osborne & Barr in Kansas City, and Socialite Media in Los Angeles. She has a breadth of diverse marketing experiences that will continue to grow as she transitions into a full-time position in New York City. With multiple displays of involvement, dedication, and excellence in everything she does, I am proud to present Catherine Clausen as the December 2016 College of Business Outstanding Senior. Congratulations, Catherine, on this well-deserved recognition. I am now privileged to introduce today's student speaker, Mr. Nicholas Ramsey. Nicholas is a finance major with a certificate in professional strategic selling. He is the son of Mike and Tiffany Ramsey. He is from Hutchinson, Kansas, and a graduate of Hutchinson High School. After graduation, Nick will begin his career in financial products analytics with Bloomberg in San Francisco, California. As an undergraduate, Nick has been remarkably involved in the university Greek system and the college. He has served as president of Pi Sigma Epsilon and as the vice president of finance for Delta Sigma Phi fraternity. He has also been a sales ambassador, a member of the competitive sales team, and an investment assistant for the Kansas State University Foundation. Also a member of the Business Dean Student Advisory Council. Nick, it is my honor to welcome you to the podium as our Fall 2016 student speaker.
Thank you, Dean Gwinner, for that amazing introduction. Writing this speech has been one of the hardest homework assignments I've ever had in college. And don't worry, I waited till the last minute to turn it in per my normal routine. We're here today to celebrate the things we got right. Meeting graduation requirements, our involvement on campus, surviving Finance 450 for those non-finance majors out there, landing that job offer, and simply just moving on to the next phase of our careers. But I've found that it's oftentimes the things we got wrong that teach us the most. That Snapchat you later regretted sending, putting off studying until the very last minute, not getting that job offer or internship that you worked so hard to be recognized for, and of course, opening a tab in Aggieville. Yeah, we've all been there. I think it would be okay for me to say that for the majority of us, our college experiences have helped shape who we are, who we want to be, and who we will become. At K-State, we always pride ourselves on being a family, and I fully believe that each and every one of us here today is a part of that family. And I would even go on to say that we have been since we stepped in Calvin Hall, taking our first business class, which, can we take a minute to talk about Calvin? From sweating in classes because the temperature was always playing mind games with us, or because of the rattling, you couldn't hear your professor because of the rattling ceiling from the broken AC unit, Yeah, I think we can all say that we've experienced that, and we're very grateful for the new incredible building that we have now. And we can actually say that we were the first class. First class, guys, we're making history right now as the first class to graduate from this brand new incredible building. That's something to be proud of. But it really wasn't the new building that made our experience here so fulfilling. It was the people. The late night study groups who encouraged you or simply left you to do the group assignment by yourself. The countless trips to the Ville for nights you'll never remember with friends you'll never forget. Wabashing alongside 50,000 of your closest friends and family on game day with that united, I believe that we will win feeling. Or even the bond you formed with your classmates over the anxiety of a huge exam. These are what matter the most, and these are the things that shape us into a family, a K-State family that cannot be broken. Mom, Dad, Sydney, fam, friends, I love you guys. Thank you. I would not be here without you guys and all of your love and support, so thank you. I also have to give another thank you to Dr. Dieter. You and the sales program have meant more to me in my time at K-State than I have time up here to talk about. I'd also be remiss to leave out my fellow sales team members who are out here in the audience right now. Congrats, guys. We did it. I also want to give a special thank you to everyone who's sitting on this platform. To think that I'll be able to end my college experience sitting up here with some of the best and brightest minds of Kansas State University, I would have never thought that. So thank you. Classmates, take this milestone day as an opportunity to show love and appreciation to the people who matter the most in your life. We didn't get here alone, and thinking so would be so irrational. Finally, one of the greatest things I've learned is to ask tough questions. Because if you don't, you'll not be able to learn or grow into the person you want to be. So class, I have 3 questions to ask you. 1, what will you become? 2, who will you be? 3, how will you continually strive to be the greatest version of yourself? The answer to these 3 questions should be fluid, dynamic, and never concrete. We need to remember to consistently challenge ourselves to always keep growing and to always ask the tough questions. Take a second and look across the room. Look left, look right. You probably saw someone that is just as nervous as you, but also just as excited to move on to the next phases of our careers. I want us all to leave here excited, eager, and thrilled to experience the new journey ahead of us. Not too thrilled or excited, though. We still have to take finals next week. Sorry for the loss of revenue, Aggieville. Much like the time limit on that really awesome Snapchat that you want to screenshot so you have it saved for later, yeah, we all know that one. Our undergraduate experience here at K-State is coming to a close. Hopefully you guys have saved plenty of pictures and videos to your memories to look back on. I think it's right to say that we should probably take one more K-State selfie. All right. I want to thank you for your time and allowing me to speak to you today. Forever K-State proud. Go Cats, and congratulations to the fall class of 2016. Thank you.
Thank you, Nick. We appreciate your enthusiasm and look forward to seeing what the future holds for you and your fellow graduates. Will you please come and accept this plaque as a token of our appreciation?
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we are now ready to present the degree candidates for the College of Business Administration. Will the candidates for bachelor's degrees from the College of Business Administration please rise and remain standing? President Myers. On behalf of the faculty of Kansas State University, I am pleased to present to you the College of Business Administration Class of Fall 2016.
Thank you, Dean Gwinner. By the authority of the people of the state of Kansas and the Kansas Board of Regents, and upon recommendation of the faculty, I am pleased to confer upon you the graduating class of fall 2016, the degree you have earned at Kansas State University. You may now move the tassel to the left side of your mortarboard. Congratulations.
Please be seated.
Would the graduates please stand and approach the stage as the marshal reaches your row? And would the representatives from the departments please proceed to the side of the stage to congratulate the graduates? Candidates for a Bachelor of Business Administration degree with a major in accounting: Shelby Elizabeth Doman, Samuel Carter File, Christine Elizabeth Flock, Joyce Gonzalez, Evan Reed Harter, magna cum laude, Josephine Barbara Hayes, Brett Ryder Hawley, Mallory Johnson, Charles James Cadle, Kirsten Louise Kober, summa cum laude, Guiying Li, summa cum laude, Braxton William Lind, Mitchell Curtis Long, Austin Mitchell Marshall, Alex Michael May, Princess Christine R. Moran, Alex Stephen Poggi, summa cum laude, Shannon Elizabeth Reamer, magna cum laude, Anastasia Bethany Sanders, Kylie Marie Schwartz, Nicole M. Vestal. Candidates with a Bachelor of Business Administration degree with a major in entrepreneurship: David Paul Barr, Samuel Levi Baker, Bo Richard Banner, Daniel Joseph Berger, Cody Michael Chase, Christopher Pike Earnshaw, cum laude, Natalie Nicole Heslop, Dominic Joseph Libretone, Colin J. Miller, Ryan Thomas Miller. Candidates with a Bachelor of Business Administration with a major in finance: Parker Christian Ayers, Tucker Nicholas Clark. Miles Jeffrey Copeland. Alan Joseph Davis. Zachary J. Disberger. Randall Keith Friesen, cum laude. Ashley Marie Hegeman. Blake Tyler Hillman. Ryan William Hoover, cum laude. Reagan David Huchin. Zachary J. Keller. Dylan Brett Kelsheimer. Andrew Hayden Knott. Jamie Marie Lacey. Kelsey Lee Lampy. Monfu Alan Lewis. Robert Francis Loomis. Alec Main. David Benjamin Moreno. Gino Giuliani Pavetti Villalba. David Allen Poole. Nicholas Michael Ramsey. Kayla Dawn Saunders. Taylor Marie Scantlin. William Robin Schneider. Kylin Lucille Schooley. Hannah Shea Sharp, magna cum laude. Cole Eli Suklocha. Seth Robert Sundin. Taylor Stephen Wilson. Jacob Stephen Worms. Guang Yang. Brett William Zaplatal. Candidates for a Bachelor of Business Administration with a major in General Business. Stephanie J. Biddle. Denise Lynn Kane. Devin Chantel Lynch. Tyler Miles.
Candidates for management: Caitlin Madreen Bertels, Mylan Bong, Jacob Matthew Burnett, summa cum laude, Macarena Tice Campos Cervera Gonzalez, cum laude, Clayton Ross Carter, Yi-Yang Chen, Michael Bernard Dawkins, Adam Lee DeHaan. Joby Lee Edward DeBrick. McKenna Francis DeHart. Denise Adriana Durham. Ashlyn Neil Fiscus, cum laude. Jason Daniel Gazaway. Kaylee Ann Grieving. Paul Anthony Gooch. Tabery Lene Holling. Kylie Hunter Hardman, cum laude. Molly Margaret Hart. Matthew Dean Hebert. Taylor Allen Hilgers. Shelby Marie Hutchinson. Turner Lynn Landon. Angela Rose Livingston. Connor Philip Lutz. Justin Tyler Lynn. Carolina Lee Marks. Lindsay Catherine McKee. Bing Xiao Mei. Lucas James Munns. Brady Marguerite Druhard Nordis. Shui Jian Chin. Zachary Lynn Reek. Tamia Ruth Roel. Gentry Cheyenne Schneeweiss. Haley Marie Schwartz. Kelsey Ann Shirey. Eric Mitchell Seek. Brandon Thomas Smith. Mariah Lynn Strom, magna cum laude. Tyler Kevin Struckoff. Yukun Sun. Jiaqi Wang. Shinmin Wang. John Thomas Weirs. Yao Shui. Yan Yan. Yubo Zhang. Shelby Lynn Zimmerling. Candidates for Management Information Systems. Lincoln Benjamin Brown. Kevin Brian Crawford. Connor Leon Elliott. Logan Mitchell Fortney. Joshua J. Smith. Mark Stephen Thompson. Candidates for Marketing. Samantha Ann Allen. Jackson Spencer Andre. Haley Carleen Beck. Daniel Patrick Beeler. Andrew Michael Stadel Blick. Raquel Elizabeth Bork. Deanne Nathaniel Brooks. Tyson Kenneth Cannon. Catherine Bernice Clausen. Shaudasi. Marcus Anthony Elam. Graham Kincaid Goodner. Tyler Howard Green. Yu Gu. Allison Margaret Harwood. Jacob Matthew Hedrick. Ednia Isabel Herrera. Trey Patrick Johnson. Zachary David Kosmiski. Austin H. Katsleras. Casey Ellen Kowalski. Jason Michael Lears. Shicheng Liu. Robert James Melcher. Megan Ray Monday, cum laude. Brandon Michael Payne. Fei Peng. Megan Renee Plattner. Weston James Prakash. Lee Arthur Prutzman. Darren Scott Reddick, magna cum laude. Isaiah Lee Richardson. Logan Clark Rose. Nicholas Wilson Rowe. Cameron Lee Shannon. Jordan Reagan Shen. Henry Joseph Simpson. Brett Connor Susi. Victoria Rose Stephen. Anna Devana Vandermark, cum laude. Anthony Michael Vitale. Lucas Jonathan Weber, magna cum laude. Yishao Wei. Caitlin Michelle Winchester. Adonis LeBron Wooten Heron. Ziwei Shua. Lulu Jung. Brandon Edward Zipper.
Congratulations to all of you. Let us recognize the outstanding accomplishments of these graduates one more time. There is one small housekeeping matter. After the graduates exit, please depart the main area of the arena as quickly as possible so the Bramlage staff can prepare for the next ceremony. You are welcome to meet in the concourse area for pictures and conversation. Graduates, it has been a privilege of the college's administration, faculty, and staff to work with you over the past few years. Would you please follow the marshals to the rear of the Coliseum, up the stairs, and into the concourse area. We would ask the audience to please remain seated until the platform party and the graduates have exited the Coliseum. Thank you, and this concludes our ceremony.